My boyfriend said I was too much during an argument. You're just too much, that's what he said. Not screaming, not even angry. Just calm, flat, final, and somehow that hurt more than if he had yelled. We were standing in the kitchen when it happened. Nothing dramatic, no plates thrown, no neighbors calling the cops. Just a normal Tuesday night argument about something. Small dishes, I think. Or maybe it was about him forgetting to text me when he said he would. It doesn't even matter now. What matters is that I was explaining how it made me feel. I wasn't insulting him, I wasn't attacking him. I was just saying, hey, when you say you'll call and then disappear for hours, it makes me feel unimportant. He sighed that long, tired sigh. And then he said you're too much. I laughed at first because I genuinely thought he was joking. For context, we've been together for 2 years. We live together in a small apartment just outside the city. We have shared streaming accounts, a joint Costco membership, and a dog we picked out together on a rainy Sunday afternoon. In other words, we were serious, or at least I thought we were. I've always been emotional, not unstable, just expressive. I cry at movies, I get excited about holidays. I over-explain when I'm nervous. I like talking things out instead of pretending everything's fine. He used to say he loved that about me. You're passionate, he'd say. But somewhere along the way, passionate turned into dramatic, and dramatic turned into too much. After he said it, I asked him what he meant. He shrugged. You just react to everything so intensely. It's exhausting. I felt like someone had just taken a highlighter to my entire personality and labeled it as a flaw. I tried to stay calm, I really did. So me telling you how I feel is exhausting. No, he said, already frustrated, it's the way you feel, everything out of 10. That's when something shifted in me because I realized something awful. I had already been trying to shrink over the last few months. I had stopped bringing up little things that bothered me. I told myself I was picking my battles. I laughed off comments that stung. I pretended not to care when he canceled plans last minute. I thought I was being mature, but in reality, I was making myself smaller so he wouldn't feel overwhelmed. And somehow even that wasn't enough. The argument fizzled out after that. I went to the bedroom, I stayed in the kitchen, staring at the sink like it had personally betrayed me. You're too much, the words kept replaying in my head. Too loud, too emotional, too needy, too sensitive, or just too inconvenient. I started thinking about the beginning of our relationship, back when he used to send long paragraphs about how much he missed me, back when he'd show up with flowers, just because back when my enthusiasm made him smile instead of sigh. What changed? Or did he just stop liking the version of me that required effort? The next morning he acted like nothing happened, kissed my forehead, asked what I wanted for breakfast, called me babe, and for a second I almost convinced myself I imagined it, but I didn't, because when I looked at him, I felt different, not angry, just aware that the person I love sees my emotional depth as a burden, and that realization is lonely in a way I can't fully explain. Here's the part that really got me. Later that week, we were at a friend's birthday party. One of his friends was venting about his girlfriend being clingy. My boyfriend laughed and said, yeah, some people just don't know when to chill. He didn't look at me, but he didn't have to. I felt like I'd just been suddenly categorized too much again. That night I couldn't sleep. I kept asking myself, is being too much actually a bad thing? Or is it just too much for the wrong person? Because I know there are people out there who would love someone who communicates clearly, someone who cares deeply, someone who wants emotional intimacy instead of surface level peace. Why am I trying to tone down qualities that aren't toxic, just intense? And why does loving me fully feel like a chore? To the person who claims to love me, I haven't broken up with him. Not yet, but something has shifted inside me. I've stopped apologizing for my feelings. When something bothers me, I say it when I'm excited. I show it when I'm hurt. I don't minimize it, and here's what's interesting. The more I stop shrinking, the more uncomfortable he seems, which makes me think this was never about me being too much. It was about him being unwilling to meet me at my level. I don't know what's going to happen next. Maybe we'll work through it. Maybe we won't, but I do know one thing. I would rather be too much for someone than barely enough for the wrong person. So now I'm asking you all, have you ever been told you were too much? Did you change yourself? Or did you realize you just weren't with the right person? Be honest, I really want to know, because I'm at a crossroads. And I'm trying to figure out if I'm growing or just finally seeing clearly. Let me know what you think.